We've had a couple of hit-outs. Now it's time for the serious stuff. The spring is here. Glenn Ingram, Group 1 racing, is back in Melbourne with the Memsey this Saturday, and you are in Group 1 form at the moment too.
Thanks, Edward. Yeah, fantastic fields out Saturday for Caulfield. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. A lot of nice horses coming through the trials and jump outs too, Ed. So we'll try and find a few winners for the punters in the next half an hour.
Now, I don't want to be putting you under pressure, but make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the show, because the bold statement, 3 from 3 this spring.
Yeah, going okay. So we found a lay down misère this weekend.
Good.
We'll make it 4 from 4.
All right, before we get to all of that though, we need to see who's back at the trials and jump outs, who are we looking out for, some of our old friends, and there's some good ones particularly this week. Storm Leopard ran third in the ATC Derby last time we saw him. How's he been getting on at the jump outs in a strong field against another old friend, Buckaroo?
Buckaroo, yeah. Buckaroo's back in work. He's down on the inside at the rear there in the Aussie Kirk colours. To his outside is, in the white jacket, is the one we're looking at, Storm Leopard, who's having its, I think it's its second jump out of the prep. Loved the first jump out. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot in that first one, but gee, he was trucking along here in this second heat and runs up out wide on the track and hit the line nicely. I think he's a horse that's going places as a 4-year-old. He's not overly raced. He's got a little bit more upside, so looking forward to seeing what this son of Gaeth can do this campaign.
He won the Tulloch Stakes, then went to the ATC Derby, ran third there. He was under a hold, he was back, he was wide, he was pushed, as you can see here, but I thought he showed enough. He's back at the races on Saturday. It's a day where so many talented horses are kicking off their campaigns, and Storm Leopard's part of that. He's the 4th pick in the market for the last at Caulfield. Sass Appeal with points bet the favourite at $3. 10 Commandments is a fit winter horse. Another Will's Group 1 horse. Storm Leopard on the 4th line of betting. El Duca, Craig, they're no slouches either. That's a good race.
No, and I thought El Duca trialled really well at Caulfield recently. They took it out the back and didn't show a whole lot with it, but we know it's a horse that can race on speed and it'll go forward along with Sass Appeal on Saturday.
I'm interested to see what you think of War Machine next of all, because this is a horse who's had a troubled campaign thus far. He was supposed to go and did go to the races for the Ori Star, but he broke through the barriers before the race and galloped from that starting point at the 1200 until around the 800 metre mark on the circle track. He's been back to the jump outs more recently.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the stable think of this horse, because, as you said, he has had a troubled sort of last 12 months. I remember he went out to Pakenham, he was heavily backed. I think he started 2s on there. It was really disappointing. And he just hasn't been able to get going for maybe multiple reasons. But he's, as you said, he broke through the gates. He has had the month between jump outs. That's him in the white here outside Arabella Star. Arabella Star's a handy enough filly or mare. And look, she's not overly big in size, but she goes all right. Harry's Yacht ran on into 3rd. War Machine's in the white. I just think a month between runs, I'd love to know where he's at. So maybe we'll hear from the stable later in the week.
He's going to be running on Saturday, so he does get off to a belated start to his spring campaign in the Group 3. He's 1100. 11 other days, the favourite at $2.45. $6 War Machine on the 3rd line of betting.
Yeah, good race. Looking forward to that. Harry's Yacht. Gee, he's gone up big price, Harry's Yacht. I thought he'd be a little bit closer than that. I'll Live Another Day is going to be very hard to beat. Bridal Waltz has been jumping out well, bit of class on their side. I'll Live Another Day is a horse that needs a scalp, Ed, and he looks to be going the right way early in the campaign. He's
certainly very promising. Streisand, now this is the Blue Diamond winner, had a busy 2-year-old campaign. Big Sky's also a horse who showed plenty of potential as a 2-year-old. I spoke to Clinton McDonald yesterday on the phone about Streisand, and given how busy she was as a 2-year-old, the intention is to give her a light spring campaign as a 3-year-old. The plan is for her to kick off in the Cap Don Teves, then head towards the Scalacci at Caulfield, and then one of the big sprints at Flemington during Melbourne Cup week. This was her first jump out back.
It makes a lot of sense, Ed, doesn't it, really? Just a light campaign, because, as you said, I think we saw her 7 times as a 2-year-old. She did the interstate trip as well up to Sydney, and she's come back. She looked fantastic. I was trying to work out, watching these two horses together, Big Sky and Streisand, who's going to be training on into their 3-year-old season. And you would think Streisand would, being by Magnus. They're generally a breed that get better with age. Big Sky looked good too, and I thought there was a horse that finished off in 4th looked good Langanani, I think it's called, from the Busselton Young Stable in the lime colours, I thought, had a good jump out too.
Let's have a look at Mbube next of all, the last of our horses in the Guess Who's Back segment. This is a horse who looked really good winning at its only start at Sandown, was put away and is now at the jump outs once again.
Yeah, look, I thought he had a soft jump out here. I don't think there was a whole lot to talk about in terms of what Mbube did. Having said that, he's a horse that's going to be heading towards the Coolmore, so you wouldn't want to see him up and going now, would you? You just want to see a bit of a pipe opener, and I think that's what we did. Divine Empress won the jump outs out in front there in the gold and black. Mbube's in the red, and have a look at this horse fly up the inside here in Menuno from the Cliff Brown stable. Nice jump out, flies through the line. Also Vale Mountain trialled okay too for Logan McGill in the new stable, was with the Hayes camp, now with Logan McGill. So a couple of horses to follow out of that heat.
A couple of eye catchers for us to get to next of all. Let's get stuck in. Look at one horse that caught the eye with the way that she got home. She's a quality sprinter. We know she's got her quirk. She completely bombed the start at an Oakley Plate earlier this year, but when she puts it all together, she's a good mare, GG's Miss Truth.
She sure is, and she loves Caulfield. You know, she's probably raced her best when she's been at Caulfield, and she loved the heat there. As you said, I thought she was really forward. She's in the light green with the pink cap midfield, and gets to the outside, and they gave her a bit of a workout too. She hit the line really strongly. I thought Sepals was fantastic. Another horse like War Machine, just not sure where he's at. Wouldn't shock if he was to come out and win first up. He travelled in nicely behind them. And a horse called Karen, right out the back here, orange sleeves, black jacket. Impressive maiden winner, I think, can go on with this campaign too. So just look for her in the lower grades.
Yep, that was her first jump out this preparation as well, GG's Miss Truth. Sweeping up to take the lead at the perfect timing in that jump out. Hurricane's an interesting one that you've flagged up, because this horse hasn't won for quite a while, but could that drought be broken soon?
Do I detect a lack of confidence in your voice there?
No, I like the jump out, but the form hasn't been the best at the races, I would argue.
Yeah, and it's a fair comment, and I just like the way he's been jumping out. I liked his first jump out. He was out the back and he's sort of cut through the field late, and then he's done it again here. He's right down on the inside. Nick Ryan's stable's flying at the moment. He's got a lot of nice horses going. And I think this is another one that can come out and win first up. He has won first up previously. I thought he travelled beautifully. You see he's got his head on his chest. Naina wins the heat. She's in the black with the black and white checks. The Waller horse, she comes up the rail there and sprints quickly. She's a good metro horse, but I thought Hurricane's just absolutely trucking back on the inside there. I think he's a horse we need to keep a little bit of an eye on, Ed. Might go around a big price.
OK, he's proven that he can travel interstate at a couple of interstate runs last preparation. This was his second jump out back. He was nominated for Caulfield and also for Morphettville this weekend, but they didn't accept with him, so we'll have to keep an eye out for when he is heading to the races. All of those horses that you've shown us, Glenn, they're horses that we know pretty well. It's time for some fresh faces from you, though, Monsieur Ingram.
This is the one, the segment the punters love, isn't it? Because they can get it on top of the bookies here. Monsieur Claude, the Frenchman, he's back last here, orange cap, red sleeves, purple jacket. Matt Laurie's got this horse. He's a 4-year-old, and he's a promising type, this horse. I like the way he finished off this heat. It was a pretty good jump out. The horse to follow who wins the heat is Hierarchy in the Godolphin Blue, sneaks up the inside. But if you just follow him through the line, I thought Monsieur Claude here in the blinkers really found the line strongly. Nice big horse.
Certainly is. So that's him back, coming out wide with his run. They went back from a wide draw. He got to the line really well. This is his third jump out, so he's pretty fit. He won't be far off getting to the races, you would think. And unlike others that we've seen at the jump outs recently, he looks like he's been well educated. There's not a lot of greenness there. He's quite professional looking, I thought.
And in the right stable to be winning on debut with Matt Laurie. If you can pick off maybe one of those 4-year-old plus maidens at the provincials, we can get a result.
With respect to Monsieur Claude, the next two that we're showing here were the two that I was really taken with. We can make a bit of money out of Profitize, I think. This is one from an Inform stable, a $60,000 yearling. 3-year-old gelding by Profiteers.
Yeah, nice type. Hong Kong owns Ed, so I was thinking they're trying to get this guy up for a trip overseas or what? He's, geez, in the right stable at the moment. Jason Warren has his team airborne at the moment. He had I think he had a horse go around 30 to 1 at Sandown during the week and got up. And he's got a lot of nice horses going at the moment, Jason Warren. I think he's a stable to follow. So the speed was on early. And have a look at Profiteers come right down the outside. Really let down strongly. It was a good jump out. I think it's a horse to follow. As you said, they paid $60,000 for it at the Adelaide Magic Millions. Hong Kong owned. Semantics is back in third, was given a quiet jump out. The Godolphin horse there, it might be one to follow too.
Horte was the other one I wanted to follow from the Cranbourne set of jump outs. You can see that replay on the Racing.com website. For now, though, we're taking a break. We'll be back with more when we return. This is your trials form guide leading into the weekend. These next horses we're going to show you are all lining up. So let's see if we should be having a little something on them when they get to the track. These are ready to go. Bossy Bonita's the first one you're going to show us, a horse who's got a good record at Caulfield. We'll see you there on Saturday.
Goes well fresh too, Ed. Down on the inside there in the orange and the green. And look, they tried to chase a little bit of black type with the last campaign and a couple of runs prior to that. She wasn't able to do it. She's a good sort of open class mare. She is tough on speed. If on speed's going to be a play on Saturday, I think it's a horse we need to pay a little bit more respect to. She can certainly set a good gallop and stick on. She's a tough mare. The other horse to follow, I thought, was Dark Journey, who's right out the back, the grey horse here in the Grand Syndicate's colours, the yellow and the black. Peels off heels late and hits the line strongly. As I said, Jason Warren stable, you could do worse than follow him at the moment. A lot of his horses are going well. Back to the inside in the white and the green blue cap is Autumn Mystery, was doing good work through the line too. So I think that'll be a nice horse, a nice heat to follow at least.
Yep, Autumn Mystery runs on Saturday as well, but let's concentrate on Bossy Bonita. She's the $17 pick in the race, but Shadavar, who I know you love, and Salty Pearl, who's featured on this show recently, both given more of a hope at $2.70 and $10 respectively.
Yeah, we love Salty. She has got a bit of a sticky barrier there. Bossy Bonita will go forward. Gold medalist, trialled really well at Pakenham. Yeah, good race.
Let's have a look at Wolf Gap. I've got to be honest with you. I thought he looked a bit green, so he was due to run, or at least nominated to run, in the McNeil this weekend. They haven't accepted with him. He's nominated for the Golden Rose. I just wonder, do they lower their sights a little bit with him to help him build his racecraft? Or was he, I wonder, learning with a bit of equipment added to him?
Well, they got the blinkers on here, and I thought they worked, Ed. I thought, as you say, he was a little bit green, but, you know, he was in between horses too, so maybe that's not his go. I heard Sam Freedman talking about him on Racing.com on the website, and look, he was pretty pleased with this horse. He's had the 2 runs in Sydney as a 2-year-old, and it brought him down here. I think he's a horse that can really go to another level now as a 3-year-old. He was pushed along, but I think there's a bit of quality in this heat. Have a look at American Eagle on the outside of this horse. It looked like he had Wolf God cold at this point, and they pulled the stick on Wolf God, and Wolf God responded nicely. I think he's a horse with a fair bit of upside, and we'll get a line through American Eagle on Saturday.
Now, Lapolo, are we looking at this horse just to bask in the glory of your first bold statement, or is there a legitimate reason that we're seeing this jump out?
That's why you think I put this on, isn't it?
It is. I thought you wanted us to say, hey, Eagle, you tipped this last time.
You think I'm dirty because we didn't put it in the winners section, and now I've brought it back in a jump out. But no, what I would say, Ed, is I think it's a horse that just needs to go straight up in trip now. That 1,400 metres, found a low maiden. It was the right race. It was well back there on the synthetic, but this is him on the turf. So he's back on the inside in the Yulong colours, and he's just got a real stayer's action. I think they just got to shoot him straight up in ground. I'd love to see him sort of over 1,800 metres at his next run. Excuse me. And I thought he was doing his best work late. We've got a couple of nice horses. The Savanita, I think it is. The Waller horses in the yellow sleeves, pink and blue cap. But there's my boy Lapolo just doing a bit of steam train work down on the inside. He looks more like a diesel, doesn't he?
Calvin McAvoy said after his win he looks like more of a 2,000-metre type horse, a Saturday class horse in time. Interesting to see Mark Zahra riding in there as well too. The jockey movements at this time of year, particularly at the Jumpouts, are quite fascinating to see. Let's go to Run Harry Run next of all. Now, this is a horse who's having a mid-prep jump out here. He's 2 from 2 this time in. He holds nominations and acceptances now for both Caulfield and Rosehill. We'll wait and see where he does go to.
Yeah, so they're obviously quite happy with him, Ed. As you said, he's won the 2 races this camp, or last 2 races anyway, but he looks to be going well and back to his best. You know, he lost form there for a little while. He was obviously with Mike Moroney at one point, but I think the Hayes team have got him going well. He's had a nice little jump out here. He travelled beautifully on the bridle, dropped his head, he did everything right, and as you said, he's nominated for 2 states this weekend. So I think he's got the winning form and he's worth persisting with. I think he's going to find a really strong race at Caulfield on Saturday. So perhaps I haven't seen the Rosehill race, that might be a little easier.
Well, that race at Caulfield, he's in the last there, and we did note before that's quite a strong race that he's in. Sea Palm, we're going to have a look at next. Now, this is a horse that, in your opinion, is looking for drier ground after racing through the winter and having a freshen up recently.
I'm just trying to be a mind reader with what the stable's thinking here. They've given this horse a freshen, so they've had a few weeks off, and it's got a really good record on good tracks. And I think this is a good jump out for a horse that can go straight back to the races and win, provided he's put into his right race. Belle Azule is down on the inside there. I think it's the Brad Spicer colours, the yellow and the blue, white cap. It's a Blue Point 3-year-old. It just looks a dead set 1,000-metre horse. So look out for it if it can find a tight track, 1,000 metres. I think that'll suit the little Blue Point horse. And have a look at Sea Palm flying down the outside here in the white jacket, black cap. Nice bit of work from Sea Palm.
Yeah, eye-catching work late. We've got time for one more replay before we do head to a break. Tales of Time, and here comes the star of the 2 you wanted to focus on. Tell us why, Eagle.
Yeah, I think Tales of Time's a progressive colt. Here Comes the Star's a really good mare. We know all about her. You know, she's quite exposed. She does love those heavy tracks, and she got a heavy 10 down there at Cranbourne, and that's her go. So she was able to sneak up on the inside of Tales of Time. I thought it was an interesting jump out. I thought Ben Melham started to clock off on Tales of Time. He's in the U-long out in front. I think he sort of thought he had the heat sewn up. And Here Comes the Star with Bo Mertens, sneaks up the inside, and Ben had to wake the colt up. And he responded nicely, and those two sort of ran through the line strongly together. So I think it's a good trial, a good jump out, and a couple of horses we can follow. Here Comes the Star, especially if she can get a wet track early in the spring, we can back her with a bit of confidence.
OK, that's good to note. Yeah, first jump out as well. For Here Comes this for Tales of Time, this preparation. They've both had a decent gap on their rivals. Sunbliss, VIP, others we wanted to follow. Put those into your RDC Black Book. Time for a break. The Bald Statement is coming up after this. Glenn Ingram walked into the Racing.com studio today with a strut because he's been finding winners at left, right and centre. Buckler was very, very good last Saturday. Signetti was one you flagged up on the very first episode of this season. You're keen, you're right.
Yeah, you even got the group chat tip too.
You even got the group chat tip.
And then you went and ruined it by putting in a losing multi.
I got greedy. She's a nice horse, Gold Coast Belle.
She really is, yep. She sprinted quickly there on Saturday. It was a good win.
OK, so you're going well. I need to punt better. Maybe I might be better off just following the horses that you've landed on. Who are the horses that it might be one small step for the punters, but one giant leap for our punting balancers?
Oh, that's your finest moment. Lucky Brook. Now, this horse from the Greg Urell stable, she's a really nice horse. Very well backed on debut. I think she was $6 into $4. Greg Urell had a tune to the minute at Caulfield, and she was able to sit wide on the track and win on debut, and then he's tipped her out, and she looked fantastic here. Look at Blake Shin. He's swinging off her. She's got her ears up. She's cruising in the... Blake's in the white jacket, red sleeves there, out in front. And I think it's only good things ahead for this filly, and I believe she's going to the Captain Teebs first up. So couple of weeks away, she might bump into a few decent horses.
Into Streisand, for instance.
The other one to touch on is Stretton Ruler, who's back to the inside there in the lime green with Philip Stokes.
Let's go to Stung next of all. This is what you've been doing. You've been stinging the bookies lately. Stung 4-year-old done deal mare. Last start went over the Claire Lindop over a mile in Adelaide, so one that you think might be better over a little bit more ground?
Possibly, but I thought this was a really good jump out for a horse that's unbeaten fresh. So she's 2 from 2 fresh. She's down on the inside in the white here. She's a done deal. You can see she wants to go quicker. She's a little bit keen. I just think that's the way she needs to race too. I think she's just a keen going horse.
Okay, because I'm glad you've said that, because watching this I thought, oh, she's pulled too hard here.
Perhaps. And you might be right on race day, but to me she looks like she just wants to run, and I think she's a horse that can win first up. They did try her out over middle distances last campaign. I think that's probably right, 16 to 2,000 metres, but if they could find a 1,400 metres first up, I reckon she can win.
This was her first jump out back after running in the Australasian Oaks. Jackson Radley was aboard there. You can see that those first two, there's a good gap between first and second, and then another good gap between the rest of them. So adding a bit of authority to the performance there of Stung. Now, our late great friend in Warren Huntley used to say that I was the Dennis the Menace of Racing.com. Well, here is the equine version of Menace.
Yeah, I thought this was easily the best jump out of the week. Menace with Mark Walker's stable, another horse with Yulong, and I think Mark has been publicly bullish about this horse. It's one of their horses they think can go to a new level, or to some level. So it's still a maiden. It's only had a couple of starts, but really impressive. And I think the benchmark here in this trial is to see how well it's going is what it's done to Ruby's Choice. Ruby's Choice is back on the inside. It's already had 2 jump outs, Ruby's Choice, and she's going to be nice and forward for the Arel stable. Don't think she loves heavy ground. Menace, on the other hand, cruised through it, and he looks really forward, ready to go. I think that's Mark Zara in the saddle.
He's been busy, Mark.
Hasn't he? He's been busy on the show. Ruby's Choice, you can see like he puts it away pretty easily. So I thought it was a good jump out from Menace, probably the best jump out of the week, and a horse that we should be getting on.
Okay, so I'm guessing, just a gut feeling, that Menace is a horse that we should be putting into the black book, and that you've definitely landed on as one of a handful to take away if we're taking away just a select few from this week's show.
I think so. Lucky Brook and Menace are probably the 2 best of the week, and Stung I thought was really good, looking to keep its unbeaten record.
Now, people have their lunches, their dinners, depending on what time zone they're watching this show on. They've put them all on hold because they want the bald statement, the unbeaten bald statement. Bucklew paid a decent price, particularly if you got on early last week. Who are we with this week?
Oh, we're with Tom Dabenig's Olive Another Day. A horse that's really progressive. Trials have been exceptional, and I just think he's the here and now horse out against a couple of horses I'm just not quite sure about first up.
Okay. Horse that could go further, you would think. He looks like he's going to work his way further up in the ratings.
Yeah, probably not a golden... Was it Golden Eagle they flagged?
Everest?
Everest, sorry. Yeah, it was the Everest. Maybe not that high, but he looks ready to go first up.
All right. Keep the winners coming. Great job as always.
Thanks, Ed. Cheers.
Thank you for your time. Enjoy the weekend's racing. We'll see you next week right here on The Trial Show.